What up, Screen Fiends? I'm GB, and you're tuned in to Headz TV, where we like to discuss all the wonderful things appearing on your movie and your TV screens. In this episode, I'm going to give my predictions for the next episode of Preacher. That's going to be Season 2, Episode 4, titled Victor. Alright, so if you've never watched my prediction videos before, let me just say that I base my predictions on the synopsis, as well as any promo material that they release, like trailers or scenes from the episode. If there's any source material, whatever knowledge I have of the source material, and then the show, basically whatever habits the show has, or whatever style or tone the show usually goes in, I'll try and use that to make my predictions as well. Now, unfortunately for me, I'm usually wrong, but that's a good thing, I guess, because it's always better to not know what's coming, but it's fun to talk about it, or to try and figure out what's going to happen in these shows. Now, the source material isn't really too much help with Preacher because they seem to be changing around a lot of stuff. So I think they're keeping the basic storylines and who the characters are, to a basic point, but they seem to be changing a lot of it. So the source material doesn't have a great, huge impact in my prediction, but it is there. Okay, so the synopsis for the episode reads, well, first off, the name of the episode is Victor, so obviously we're going to learn a little bit about Victor, the guy that's hunting down Tulip, and probably some more Tulip's past. It says it here. Let me just read it. So Jesse dives deeper into his search for God with Cassidy, and they must take a detour to save Tulip as we discover more about her past, her secret past. Alright, so just like it says, part of the episode, and I think a small part of the episode, is going to be about their search for God. I think that'll be more in dialogue while they take their detour to go get Tulip. So I think it'll, start about the quest for God and then quickly turn to the detour to find Tulip. But they're not going to derail us as an audience from the true mission, and that's the search for God. We'll still get plenty of that, at the very least, through conversation, probably funny, fantastic conversation between Cassidy and Jesse. So that'll be a huge part of the episode, and then the other huge part of the episode, I believe, will be Tulip in Victor's custody, and we'll learn more about her relationship with Victor, whether it was just a romantic relationship, which I don't think. I think it was more of a business relationship, business romance. You know what I mean? A workplace romance, if you will, where I think she worked for Victor, like he's probably some sort of gangster crime boss. And now, just to put it out there, Tulip's character in the show is entirely different from her character in the comics. For instance, she doesn't meet Jesse until she's an adult in the book, whereas on the show, they knew each other as children. So just to give you an example, but I'm not going to go into the whole thing there. I'll probably, hopefully, do a separate video on that. So, it's vastly different, okay? But there is some backstory to her in the books where she kind of ends up on bad terms, if you will, with a bad guy. So I think that's where they're going with the Victor things, where she's working for this guy. But from the sound of it, to me anyway, when she was, remember when that big, huge dude, I think it was episode 2, was in the hotel room, whatever, she whooped his ass and all that. I just got a sense from the whole encounter and from Tulip's reaction that Victor's not only a scary guy, but it's more than that. And there's a relationship, there's emotions connected to it. That's what I got from Tulip's reaction to the whole situation. So I think that it was definitely like a workplace relationship with Victor. and she was probably, you know, when I say workplace, I don't think she was a prostitute or anything. We all know her views on prostitution, which is very, very similar in the books, to where she's like against the mistreatment of women. I mean, most women are, most good people are, right? All good people are against, you know, harm to anybody, right? But she's especially against any type of, you know, sex work or you know, degradation of women in any way, shape, or form at all. So I think that's going to remain the same. I don't think she's going to be that type of employee. I think it's going to be more along the lines of a hired gun, robberies, hits, whatever it is. And maybe she steals from him, or maybe she just walks out on him. Maybe he's abusive, or maybe he's a dick, or maybe she just misses Jesse to the point where she needs to get away. I don't know. It can't be the life of crime thing, because she goes, you know, she goes back to Jesse in hopes of a life of crime. But now we don't know what point, how long these guys have been looking for her. This could have been something from, you know, in her teens. I doubt it. I think this is going to be stuff that took place. The stuff we're going to learn, her secret past, is going to be stuff that took place in the time that her and Jesse were apart. After Jesse left to go become a preacher again, this is what Tulip went and did. He's got hooked up with these people. So we'll learn, I'm sure, a great deal about all of that. Now, in addition, that's going to be the bulk of the episode, I feel. But in addition to that, we see from the trailer that we're going to get more of Eugene, a.k.a. Arseface, that's what they call him in the comics, in Hell. And we'll learn more about the show's version of Hell and how that works, which I think, from the look of things, it's going to be similar to what we learn of Hell in the comic, but probably a more realistic, less high budget approach to it. Now, like I said before, don't want to spoil anything, even though the books are usually vastly different from the show. Don't want to spoil anything. Well, so far has been vastly different. See, all of season 1 wasn't really in the show. I mean, it was just kind of stuff that was talked about, most of it. All right, anyway. So, yeah, we'll see more of that, see how Hell works. I don't want to talk about more of that, even try to predict it, because I really think it's going to have a lot to do with the way it's handled in the book. So if you want to learn more about just Hell, I talk a little bit about Preacher's the version of Hell in my Saint of Killers videos. I did 2 of them. So if you watch the first one, you'll learn a little bit more about Hell and the way it works in the world of Preacher. Other than that, I don't really want to talk about that too much, but we'll definitely get some of that. I'm guessing we'll get about the same amount we got of Eugene in the last episode. So I'd say somewhere between like 7 and 10 minutes of Eugene in Hell, which will be nice. You know, that's a good portion of the episode. Well, not a good portion. You know, that's a quarter of the episode or whatever. But yeah. So we'll definitely get some of that. Now, I don't think we'll get much of Airstar. He's the dude with the scars, dressed in the white suit we saw at the end of the episode. That's affiliated with the woman, the end of last episode, which is affiliated with the woman with the wig and all those dudes with the white suits that Jesse beat the crap out of. They know that Jesse has the power. That's going to be important. Now, Airstar, I don't believe is going to become a major part of the story until later in the season, because I think they're going to be setting him up for him to be a major villain starting in season 3. I believe we are going to be dealing with other big villains this season, Victor, and I'm hoping somebody else from the comic. I think so, but maybe not. We may just get allusions to them. So I don't think Airstar and his group, I'm just going to tell you their name. I won't tell you anything about them because I don't want to spoil it. But the name of them is The Grail. And they're interesting to say the least. And so is Airstar. He's a very, 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 very interesting character, to say the least. I want to do a video about him, but I don't want to spoil anything, so maybe I'll just do a video just about him that's full of spoiler tags so that anyone who doesn't want to be spoiled, possibly, doesn't watch. Yeah, I doubt they're going to handle all of it, but there's some good material there. But Airstar, it does become a major antagonist, but this is not a Walking Dead type of show where there's every season we have a different big bad. There's multiple bad guys that exist at the same time in the world of Preacher. So hopefully they handle it the same way. I'm sure there'll be a big bad of every season, but with these other villains like the Saint of Killers and Airstar, and there's others that all exist at the same time. But then hopefully, we'll get like a Victor that is a one season, a one and done kind of deal. Just like how Quinn Cannon was a one and done of season 1. You know what I mean? So, alright, yeah, that's it. Sound off down below. Let me know what you think is going to happen in the next episode of Preacher, season 2, episode 4, Victor. Let me know what you think about my somewhat predictions. I know I didn't really predict much. I kind of just told you, what the synopsis is, but I gave my little spin on it. Yeah, or if you want to talk about anything Preacher related, hit me up down there. Stay away from the books, though. I don't want to spoil anything for any people. I might do some videos just about that we can open up those discussions, so anyone who doesn't want to possibly be spoiled, we leave that surprise for them. Yep, thank you so much for watching. Always appreciated. You guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you next time.